Hello, Charlie here. I'm going to talk you through the Wealth Builder model. This is the model we use to add $20,000 to $50,000 a month of profit to the wealth builders and their businesses by only working with premium clients. So, starting off, I'm going to show you some real results from inside Wealth Builders over the last few months. So, kicking off with Gonzalo in the top left. So, Gonzalo joined us at the end of last year. He has signed his first client worth $10,000, and he did that with only 90 followers. Doug has joined us in the start of January this year. He added 50% MRR in his first month, and he's going to add a hell of a lot more. He's got another 400% to go on that over the next month or so, looking at his pipeline. We had Laurie, who added 15k MRR in 3 weeks. We had Yusuf, who added 16k MRR in 2 months. We've had Holly on the top right there, added 30k MRR in her second month. And we don't just work with wealth builders. Kai and I also have our own businesses that we run. We have one together. We both have our own consultancies, and we've worked with the likes of Fox, Binance, Ubisoft, ESL, Archer, and implemented these strategies within those businesses as well. So it's not just wealth builders. There's a lot of proof. There's a lot of guys that we've used this system on, and it works really, really effectively. So how does it work, you ask? We have 3 core pillars. The first one is the tactical offer. So most people have one single offer, and they'll sell it the same way every time, and the client either needs it or doesn't need it. It's very binary. The problem with that is if you don't find somebody who has the exact need that your problem fixes, well, then you're going to struggle to find them a solution and to sign them as a client. So this is where tactical offers come in. We have 3 different levels of service. You have a DIY, a done with you, and a done for you. And I'm going to jump over to the iPad here and show you how they're a little bit different. So, as I mentioned before, most people have one offer. And the problem with that, as I said, is if a client has a very specific problem and you're offering that solution, it's not going to work. It's literally square peg round hole, right? Well, there you go, round hole. Doesn't work. So you might have the actual skill set they need. You might be able to very easily fix the problem. But if you have a very fixed offer that doesn't allow any sort of movement on this service, then they're not going to go for you. So what we do instead is we do a tactical offer. So with a tactical offer, you have one mechanism. And by that, what I mean, like lead generation, ghostwriting, whatever it may be, the thing that you actually do, the service you deliver. And what we do with that mechanism is we break it down in 3 different ways. DIY, for the clients who maybe don't have much money and still have that problem, need it solved. You end up selling them something at that level. Let's make that green and pretty. At that level, there we go. If you have someone who maybe wants to learn how to do it themselves, but fundamentally needs that help, well then you sell that mid-level. And for the people that have loads of money and just want the problem fixed, you do it for them. And that is where you make a lot of money. So the key here really is that you're selling the same thing. It's the same service. Doesn't matter what level of price point they're at. You're actually providing the same thing. It's just whether you do it for them or whether they do it themselves, really. And the key to this is rather than jumping on a call and trying to work out if a client you can fix your client's very specific problem or your very specific solution like this, you don't have that issue. You can literally find any solution that you can put together, a customized solution. That's the kind of point of this, right? It's a customized solution to problems they have, which means you end up making a lot more of this. And that is the fun part. So moving back. So we've got the tactical offer. Next up, we use a strategy map to sell it. So strategy map is different in a lot of ways to what most people do. So most people pitch offers, as I mentioned before. Wealth builders pitch strategy, and then we move straight into onboarding. So you become a real trusted guide, not a salesperson. Your tactical offer becomes the only logical solution in the client's minds. They know they need to work with you. So everybody else that's pitching them, they don't even care about. They stop listening. You don't have to push the clients. You don't have to convince them. There's no chaos. You are leading them to a clear decision. So you get shorter sales cycles, no chasing, and much, much better pricing. And again, I'm going to show you how this works in reality. So the way most people do their pitch, they'll get a lead come in like this. They'll book a discovery call. And if that goes well, then great. You know, they'll pitch something. They'll pitch that offer. And then they'll send a proposal. And then they'll have to book a follow-up. Helps if I can spell. Book a follow-up call. And assuming that goes well, then they might get on an onboarding call. Right, but the problem with this, as you can see, is there are so many different steps in this process. And this takes ages. The sales cycle, when you do it this way, is very, very long. And the problem is, as we've already seen, if the offer you pitch isn't right, then you're out. They might ghost you after the proposal because the proposal isn't what they want or isn't what they discussed or whatever. Or maybe it's changed slightly. They might ghost you on the follow-up just because that's what people do. They ghost all the time. And if you're lucky, you get to the onboarding call, well, then they still might ghost you. So the problem is the more friction you add, the longer this sales cycle, the more opportunities you have for people to ghost you. And, you know, as much as it sucks for your business and your cash flow, it also sucks mentally. There's nothing worse than spending 3 weeks, a month chasing a client that you're pretty sure was going to close and then they just drop out of nowhere or just ghost you. It sucks. We don't want that. So here's where strategy map selling is different. The lead comes in, book your discovery call. And on the discovery call, we're asking questions, we're fact finding, we're putting together the strategy map on the call with them. We pitch them the tactical offer based on what they say. So we're pitching them something that is exactly what they need. It solves the exact problem that they have. And as we say to them, let's book a follow-up. In the meantime, we'll send across a proposal, but we're booking a follow-up. That follow-up, we treat as an onboarding call. There's no messing around. It's straight from discovery call into an onboarding call. This is sent across, or no, this is done on the call. In the meantime, between the calls, you're sending across the strategy map. Excuse my handwriting. So the chance of them ghosting on the onboarding call, what do you think it is when the tactical offer is exactly what they need? The strategy map explains exactly how you're going to do it, provides proof, shows step by step the solution and the way that you're going to get them to end result. But what happens is they do turn up to the onboarding call and you make a lot of this. That's how it works. It's simple, but it's insanely effective. Next up, we have buyer content. Now, buyer content is really the key to getting people engaged. And with buyer content, whereas what most people do on social media, on email lists, whatever, what they do is they go super broad and they try and bring in a big audience. And that doesn't work. It just does not work when you want to get clients. So with buyer content, you need to understand your best clients are already watching you. They're already in your audience. You just haven't given them a reason to buy. And I've seen this myself. When I first started, I had 400 followers and I was trying to grow as fast as I could. So I would post platitude content, high level, creator style, bad content, and I would grow, but I wasn't getting clients. So what I did is I switched to buyer content. And when I switched to buyer content, I found that I started getting a lot more leads. And those leads didn't need closing. They were convinced that I was the right person to work with. And I went from 3K MRR to 15K MRR in about 6 weeks. It is as simple as that. And I was done back then. I didn't know what I was doing, right? I wasn't using any of this other stuff. I was just using buyer content. So on its own, this is extremely powerful. Combine it in the bigger picture with everything else, and it becomes an absolute weapon. So buyer content turns lurkers into buyers with just one post a day. That's all you really need to do. and you attract high intent premium clients who will pay you upwards of $10,000 to work with you. And the end result of that, you don't have to give discounts, you don't really have much price objection, and you very rarely get people ghost you because they already know that you're really good. And like with the other stuff, I'll explain it on an iPad again. So normal content, or let's call it something funny, cashless content. Right, so what does cashless content do? Cashless content exists to get likes, follows, whatever, right? That's what people focus on. So they end up doing super broad topics that will attract lots of eyeballs. Things like these video posts, or here are 10 ways of making money online. The sort of things that they think people want. It's a value. They're giving them loads and loads of value. But when you do that, you commoditize yourself. You're no longer someone of high value. You're no longer someone of high status. And that's really the key to this. So cashless content, low status, low trust. No proof. You're providing no proof that it works. Move on to buyer content. Right, buyer content does one of two things. It firstly shows you as high status. Second thing it does is it provides tons of proof. And why does status matter? So, like it or not, the top clients, the ones that you want to work with, the guys that pay you $5,000-$10,000 a month, they're only going to pay that to the best. They will only work with the best people. They are happy to spend the money to work with the best people. So if you're low status, then you're very clearly not the best person. So status is incredibly important. The way you're perceived in the market is incredibly important, because if you're high status, you make a lot more money. And if you can combine high status with a ton of proof that you can deliver, you make a lot of that. So that is buyer content. That's how it works. Moving on. So here's how it works when you join Wealth Builders. Phase 1 starts with clarity. So you'll get a one-on-one call myself and with Kai, and we're going to look into 3 things. Your tactical offer, which we'll build using the strategy map selling techniques we'll teach you. We'll give you a personalized step-by-step strategy to get your next 3 clients, and then the exact model you need to use to cash flow your way to $100,000 a month. So we'll scale your tactical offer to take home a minimum of $10K a month at this stage, and that's where the fun begins. So phase 2, you'll scale your monthly recurring profit, and at this stage we're implementing only the necessary pieces of the Wealth Builder model to push you towards 100K a month recurring. And inside the community, you get obviously access to myself, you get access to Kai, all the other wealth builders for solutions to bottlenecks, any questions you have, etc., in under 24 hours. You get all of our playbooks, our templates, our scripts, frameworks, everything that have made us over 450K ourselves and over 5 million for our clients. You also get 2 weekly calls, which are group AMA calls. They're called the Strategy Hour calls, and they're designed to refine and help you scale fast. So any questions you have, we can work through them in real time on these calls twice a week. And by the end of phase 2, you're going to have at least 3 to 10 premium clients paying you monthly with or without sales calls, chaos, or complexity. Stage 3. So at this stage, we sell less and we charge more. So with your tactical offer in place, we'll use buyer content and outbound profit systems. And by that, we mean cold DMs, cold emails, ads, and stuff like that to attract clients ready to pay 3x more for higher access to your solutions. These are the workhorse. So once you have a great working business in place, to scale it from sort of 30, 50K a month upwards to 100, you need to start adding things in, and that's what we now do. This is how we get you to 100K. And at that point, you have a choice. You can either push, you can keep growing from there, or you can step back and enjoy the freedom that your business has created. And both are absolutely fine. So investments and next steps. So getting started is simple. So you'll sign 1 new client very quickly, usually within the first couple of weeks, and that will cover the investment. The investment itself is $250 now, and then payments of $250 every week. There's no contracts, no obligations. It's a love it or leave it system. And if you want to join, email me saying I'm in. I'll get you enrolled, and we'll welcome you into the Wealth Builders today, and you can get to work growing your business. So if you enjoyed that, then great. If you want to join, we'd love to have you. Otherwise, see you soon.